The New York Knicks had it all set up 2-0 at home in front of their own crowd, one win away from putting a stranglehold on the finals. All they had to do was protect Madison Square Garden, and they didn't. They lost 115 to 111 and let San Antonio right back into the series. So what went wrong for a team that had looked unbeatable? 4 things. Let me break down how the Knicks lost Game 3. Let's set the stakes. A win here puts New York up 3-0, a lead no team in NBA history has ever blown. Instead, they lost at home, and now it's a series again at 2-1. This wasn't a blowout, it was a winnable game they let slip, and the box score shows exactly where it slipped away. This is Game is Culture. Real quick before we dig in, if you like breakdowns that actually show the math instead of just yelling takes at you, go hit subscribe. It's free and it genuinely helps, so click it. Reason 1, Brunson's empty 32. On the surface, Jalen Brunson had a great night. 32 points, the bounce back everyone wanted. But look underneath, he needed 25 shots to get there, hitting just 44% with 5 turnovers, and he finished a -9. So the captain scored a lot, but he did it inefficiently, coughed the ball up 5 times, and his team got outscored with him on the floor. Loud points, quiet impact. Here's what 25 shots for 32 points actually looks like. This is every shot Brunson took. 11 made, 14 missed. A lot of tough, contested mid-range jumpers, the hard way to score. When your offense runs through one guy taking 25 shots at 44%, you're leaving a lot of empty possessions on the floor. A reconstruction, but the makes and misses match his real line. And the 5 turnovers are the dagger. In a 4-point loss, give those possessions back, and the math changes completely. So this is the trap of a big point total. It feels like your star carried you, but 25 shots, 44%, 5 turnovers, and a -9 is not a winning night from your franchise guard. It just looks like one in the headline. Reason 2, their best player disappeared. Karl-Anthony Towns had been the engine of this whole series, the efficient anchor, the double-double machine, the guy quietly outplaying everyone. In Game 3, he vanished. 11 points on 40% shooting, just 2 field goals over the first stretch, and 4 fouls that kept him off balance all night. When your most reliable scorer goes quiet, the whole offense gets thinner. And a lot of that was the foul trouble. 4 fouls forced Mike Brown to manage his minutes, and a hesitant, foul-conscious Towns is a shadow of the dominant version New York needs. So the team that had been winning because Towns was the most efficient man on the floor suddenly had its anchor neutralized. Take that away, and the Knicks lose the very edge that built their 2-0 lead. Reason 3, the supporting cast went cold. Outside of Brunson and one other guy, the Knicks got almost nothing. Look at these shooting nights. Mikal Bridges, 1 of 5, 2 points. Landry Shamet, 1 of 8 and a brutal -20. The role players who were supposed to space the floor and knock down open shots simply didn't. In a 4-point game, a cold supporting cast is the difference between a win and a loss. And the cruel part is, one Knick was sensational. OG Anunoby went off for 28 points on 69% shooting, an absolutely elite night. But he was on an island. When your second leading scorer is a quiet role night and your big man is in foul trouble, even a brilliant game from OG and a loud one from Brunson just isn't enough to cover everyone else going cold. Quick interruption, because now's the time. If you're enjoying this, hit subscribe. I'm not going to beg, but I am going to ask, so hit it and I'll keep going. Reason 4, they lost the line. Here's the quiet killer. San Antonio went to the free throw line 32 times and made 25. New York got there far less often. That gap at the line, all by itself, is bigger than the 4-point final margin. The Knicks were the less aggressive team. They settled for jumpers, and they let the Spurs win the easiest points in basketball. And on defense, they had no answer for the stars. Wembanyama went for 32 on 61%, and Stephon Castle added 23. New York couldn't keep San Antonio's big man off the glass or out of the paint, and the rim protection that fueled their 2 road wins wasn't there. Give up that much efficient scoring at home, and you're going to lose. Now the honest perspective. let's keep this in proportion. The Knicks are still winning the series 2-1. They still have home court. OG Anunoby proved they have another star-level scorer when they need one. And almost everything that went wrong, Towns in foul trouble, the role players going cold, was a bad night, not a permanent problem. One loss doesn't erase a 2-0 lead. But it was a missed opportunity, and a big one. A 3-0 lead is a death sentence in this league. New York had a chance to end this series in spirit, and instead they handed San Antonio belief and a pulse. So the danger isn't the loss itself, it's that the Spurs now know the formula. Erase Towns, make Brunson inefficient, win the line. The Knicks just showed them the blueprint. So the fix is clear, and it's mostly about discipline. Keep Towns out of foul trouble and feed him. Get Brunson better, easier shots instead of 25 tough ones. And get back to the aggression that draws fouls instead of settling. Do that, and Game 3 is just a blip. Don't, and a series that looked over suddenly becomes a real fight. And to understand why this loss stings, you have to understand what was on the table. A win puts New York up 3-0. And in the entire history of the NBA, no team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit in the finals. Ever. So the Knicks weren't just playing for a game. They were playing for a lead that has literally never been blown, and they let it get away. And it exposed the real question about this roster. When Towns is in foul trouble and the role players go cold, who else creates offense? The answer in Game 3 was basically nobody outside of OG and a chucking Brunson. A championship team needs a third and fourth reliable option on an off night. New York didn't have one, and that's exactly the kind of hole a good opponent keeps poking at. And the Brunson pattern is worth watching closely. Big point totals, heavy shot counts, shaky efficiency. It's been the story of his entire finals. The Knicks have been winning in spite of it, carried by Towns and their defense. But on a night when those crutches fall away, Brunson's volume scoring just isn't enough to save them. That's the risk baked into leaning on an inefficient star. So the Knicks are still in control, but the margin for sloppiness just shrank. They let a desperate team breathe, handed them a road win, and showed the rest of the league a blueprint for beating them. Win Game 4, and all of this is forgotten as a minor speed bump. Lose it, and a series that felt finished becomes the most nervous week in New York basketball in 25 years. So that's how the Knicks lost Game 3. An empty 32, a vanished Towns, a cold supporting cast, and a loss at the line. The real question now, was this just a bad night, or did the Spurs find a blueprint that flips this whole series? Tell me where you land down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe. We're in a race to 1,000 subscribers, so please join the family.